On tonight's CTV News, we catch up with pupils at the newly merged Waitakere Primary School, have highlights from the weekend's Coast to Coast competition, and 3 years on, inspect the CTV site ahead of the weekend's 3rd anniversary commemorations. This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. After a 3-month-long campaign, a family member of one of the victims of the earthquake has got his wish. Sarah and the Christchurch City Council, along with volunteers, have transformed the former CTV site, cleaning it up in time for the 3rd anniversary of the devastating February 2011 earthquake.
3 years ago this Saturday, the CTV building collapsed, killing 115 people. But until November last year, the site was still a mess. Back then, Dr. Manau Kaisi spoke to CTV News about how sad he was to see the site, 3 years on, unchanged.
People come from all over the world to pay tribute, and we should do much better on that site, especially with the 3rd anniversary coming in a few months.
That story set off a chain of motion. Dr. Al-Kaisi received phone calls, emails and many messages of support. He was urged to take his case to the Christchurch City Council. With councillors' support, volunteers helped to clean up the site, and over just 3 months, it was transformed into this.
I think it's really very pleasing to see that the council and Sarah decided to come here and tidy up the space.
Soon 185 flowers will be planted in boxes representing the people killed in the earthquakes. Already grass has been laid down and an imprint of where the CTV building once stood is on display. Dr. Al-Kaisi didn't used to visit the site, it depressed him, but now there's a calmer presence around the place.
It's a place that we can come here to reflect, we can lay flowers, it's a much better place, it's much more respectful really for those who we lost here.
Witness trees lined the edge of the site, they were there when the building came down. 3 car parks have also been kept as a reminder of what happened.
Many families have lost loved ones here, and there are people who loved to have some historic, let us say, pieces of that building or that site remain.
Saturday will be tough for the Al-Kaisi family and others who lost loved ones when the building collapsed, as the city comes together to remember the day Christchurch was changed forever. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Canterbury District Health Board's considering housing mentally ill patients in caravans and portacoms on site. Experts say the move to avoid discharging homeless patients into the streets could create low-life ghettos.
The CDHB has kept the discussions for any temporary accommodation sites behind closed doors. It's understood the sites would be Hillmorton, Burwood or the former Christchurch Women's Hospital site on Colombo Street. The Health Board says a lack of social housing in the city is causing homeless patients to overstay in Hillmorton Hospital, which has already cost nearly $1 million. The proposal to house patients in campervans and portacoms has experts concerned. Dr. Olivia Webb, a former board member and advocate for the mentally disabled, says creating patient villages would create makeshift mental institutions. Disaster Mental Health Associate Saab Joel says a major risk in creating temporary villages is that it makes it harder to move residents on. Similar setups after Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans stayed in place for years. The CDHB member Andrew Dickerson says the board is in a difficult situation. He says in an ideal world, they wouldn't be faced with such issues, but to ignore them would be negligent. The CDHB Chief Executive David Mates says the emergency option would be a drastic measure. The temporary villages would have a clear end date to prevent ghetto environments emerging.
He's known for his sartorial style, but now one of Christchurch's most interesting developers has a few extra letters in front of his name. Anthony Gough has been honoured by the University of Canterbury with an honorary doctorate. Marcus Gibbs reports.
He's bright, he's colourful, and now he's a doctor. Flamboyant property developer Anthony Gough is receiving an honorary doctorate next month for his efforts in business.
It's a reflection that I'm sort of taking the city by storm, and I'm very honoured by the university for them to honour me with such a thing.
Gough already has a physics degree, but instead of a life dedicated to science, the businessman has worked in property investment for many years. The awarding of the doctorate recognises Gough's contribution to Christchurch's central city. The developer is well known for his brightly coloured suites and the Strip, a stretch of bar and restaurants along Oxford Terrace. The earthquakes might have knocked the buildings down, but 3 years on, Gough is busy building a $140 million bar, office and shopping precinct. Up to 2,000 people will work on the site once it's complete.
We should be stage one open the end of 2014. It isn't that long far away. So it's all going very, very well.
His work didn't stop there. His drive to get the central city back up and running following the quakes saw the Restart Container Mall in Cashel Street open. Since then, it's been a hub for locals and tourists. The steady flow of foot traffic has helped to support Ballantyne's department store.
For most people, taking on the centre city of Christchurch in the current environment is a huge risk, and I guess that is. But so long as you follow what you think you're doing is the right thing, and I seem to have a good nose for it, then I believe it's going to work.
Canterbury University Chancellor Dr. John Wood says with the 3rd anniversary of the quakes fast approaching, it's timely to award Gough the doctorate for his work. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The City Council is spending almost $1 million on a major global sporting event. FIFA football is holding 9 tournament games in Christchurch in May. However, the tournament comes with strict rules for major events in the city.
Football fans coming to Christchurch next year are expected to create $5 million windfall. FIFA, the world's governing football body, is bringing the Under-20 men's tournament to Christchurch for 5 weeks next May. But they're also bringing a long list of tough rules. FIFA isn't allowing any major events to take place during their 5-week event, which means the Crusaders will be a no-show at the stadium, as well as any major concerts. The press understands the Super 15 schedule will take the Crusaders to Australia and South Africa during the tournament to avoid conflict with FIFA. The press revealed ratepayers are contributing $700,000 towards hosting part of the tournament in Christchurch. This includes $500,000 in direct sponsorship, $100,000 for goods and services being bought into the city, and another $100,000 towards marketing and staging events and functions. Overall, 9 football matches will be played in Christchurch, with 7,000 fans expected to visit from overseas.
The government has ruled out commercial activity in Christchurch's eastern frame for at least 15 years. However, a Canterbury business leader says growth in the central city will force the government to free eastern frame land for business use.
A report to the Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee shows the objectives for the eastern frame and says the goals of the private sector don't marry up with the Crown's vision for that part of the CBD. The Christchurch Central Development Units acquired almost all of the eastern frame. The eastern frame runs from Armour Street to Litchfield Street, between Manchester and Madras. The report by CCDU Director Warwick Isaacs says the successful recovery of the city centre needs a hefty increase in the number of inner-city residents, and he says that's unlikely to occur in the short term without intervention. The information, obtained by the press under the Official Information Act, is found in the September 2013 report, and says the government hopes to provide top-quality public spaces, resulting in more attractive investment proposition and stronger land values. Canterbury Employers Chamber of Commerce Chief Executive Peter Townsend says the purpose of the frame was always to contain the CBD, and understands land will become available for commercial activity as it's needed. Mr Townsend says once everyone's sorted, and that positive growth continues right through the central city, he thinks pressure will come on sooner rather than later. Mr Townsend says once everyone's sorted, and that positive growth continues right through the central city, he thinks pressure will come on sooner rather than later. The Crown so far spent more than $165 million on buying up eastern frame land, and although 84% has been acquired by sales agreement, a further 16% has been compulsorily acquired under the Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Act. The report says compulsory acquisition was a last resort.
Coming up, CTV caught up with the newly merged Waitakere Primary School.
The world has a great deal to tell. Journalists from across the world report on their home nations and the experiences of the people who live there. World Stories.
Avoid the cowboys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring, moving company.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Make your next evening out one to remember at Tutto Bene Italian Restaurant and Pizzeria. Enjoy a lively, authentic, friendly Italian dining experience. Our dishes are made with fresh, local produce, prepared and cooked to perfection. Relax and indulge in mouth-watering Italian cuisine. With gluten-free and vegetarian options available, BYO wine is welcome. Tutto Bene. Dine in or take away. Open 7 days from 5 p.m.
Is this your year to upgrade your existing interior? Then head into Bathroom and Flooring Warehouse for the latest styles in European vanities, showers and baths, all at affordable prices. Bathroom and Flooring Warehouse also stock a large selection of carpets and vinyl for all your flooring needs. To view our full range, head into 159 Waterloo Road, Hornby, or visit bathroomandflooring.co.nz.
Take a multi-dimensional look at the unique facets of European culture, fashion, film, music, art, and everything in between. Euromax, every weekday at 8 a.m, right here on CTV.
The new school year has shaken things up for pupils at Waitakere Primary School. Last year, the Education Minister decided to merge Windsor Primary with Burwood Primary School. They're now operating across 2 campuses until the new school is built. Emma Cropper caught up with them to see how they're enjoying life on 2 campuses.
Warming up their new scooters. Red Cross and the Warehouse donated dozens of flash new rides for the children at Waitakere Primary School, a way to keep in touch as their school is split across 2 campuses.
It's to make sure that we don't end up with 2 schools. I mean, this is about one school coming together but on 2 sites for 2 years, so we wanted to keep the children in touch with each other. We want them to be able to see their family members, their buddies, so we thought it would be quite cool for them to scooter.
For over the next 2 years, Waitakere Primary School will operate out of the 2 campuses, River Campus and over 1 kilometres down the road, the Wetlands Campus, a merged school of Burwood and Windsor Primary. It came after a decision made by the Education Minister last year, when the government decided to merge and close schools within Christchurch.
It was not wanted by the community. It wasn't my preference as the leader. However, it's what we've got, and I suppose if we've learned anything in Christchurch in recent years, it's you've got to make the best of the situation you're in, so that's what we intend to do.
The school won't be operating across 2 campuses forever. Plans for a joint location are underway, and the school hopes to be on the new site in the next 2 years. But it's still making the most of its current situation.
We've got 2 years where we're on dual sites. That's 2 years where we want to show our community and Christchurch and the rest of the country that dual sites can work. It doesn't have to be a disaster, and it has been for a lot of schools around the country when they've been through this. So we want to make that a success, and we want the children now to be having really successful learning, as well as looking forward to a brand new state-of-the-art school in 2016.
The children have become resilient through a raft of changes and disruptions since the quake hit in 2011.
Both schools did a great job of looking after the children in the community directly after the earthquake. I think that's built up the children's resilience, and we've just continued to focus on helping them with transition programs and buddies and extra support in the classroom, and they just have a great time.
Staff have been mixed and split across the 2 campuses, and parent consultation divided the school to junior and senior split. As the school's year has been underway for almost a month, the school is working through the challenges of the dual site.
And we launched the school on the 28th of January with the staff, and it was very positive. However, it's still a challenge. You're taking two schools, you're chucking them together in a very short time frame, so we're just going to continue to work through it and make it fantastic for the kids.
While the pupils wait for their helmets to arrive so they can hit the streets with their new scooters, the smiles on their faces are a sign of how resilient they've been through all the changes. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
For 3 years, the Elmwood community has been keeping dry while waiting for their local school pool to reopen. Today it did, and Marcus Gibbs was there.
Elmwood school pool is open!
After 3 years without a pool, Elmwood normal primary school students weren't mucking around when they were finally allowed to jump back in.
It's fantastic. It's great to see them finally in the pool. It's been a long time coming, but it's great to get the water in and kids back in there again.
The February 2011 earthquake damaged the pool beyond repair.
There was considerable amount of damage, a lot of cracking, all the joints had opened up through the pool, a lot of cracking around the surface and right through the base of the pool as well.
Well, that's what the school were first told. After another engineering report and just $90,000 of funding, the pool has now been patched up and the students were allowed back in the water. Until now, they've had to go to Jelly Park to swim, which wasn't ideal.
By the time you bus the kids there and get the lesson and bus back, there was a big chunk of learning time lost. So having it all on site, we don't have those issues anymore.
The first class poured through the gates as soon as they opened. After diving in, they were happy to just splash about.
It's awesome. I was really excited this morning about coming and swimming in a refreshing new pool.
It's amazing. It's really good coming back to the pool again.
It's really fun to just have some time in it.
Grants from the Christchurch Earthquake Appeal Trust and the Ministry of Education helped to fund the repairs. The community now hopes to raise a total of $50,000 to fix up the concrete edge of the pool and provide new seating. Anna's been teaching at the school for 14 years. After a series of long, hot summers, she's delighted to have the pool back.
It gets pretty stifling and it's really great having the pool back so that on those stinking hot days we can bring the children down to cool off.
The pool's heated, so it'll be able to stay open until at least Easter weekend. But now that it's repaired, the students will only have to wait until the end of winter before they can be back in the water. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Speight's Coast to Coast crowned a new winner over the weekend. A local competitor took out the top prize, while his brother wasn't far behind him in third.
On your mark, get set!
Over 500 competitors took off from the starting blocks at the 32nd Speight's Coast to Coast. But it took just 11 hours and 18 minutes for Methven's Braden Curry to cross the finish line in the one-day competition.
Yeah, back-to-back wins. I don't really believe it. I just had another great day and nothing really went too wrong, and I just felt good all day.
Multisports runs in the family. Mr. Curry's brother came in third. Competitors raced 243 kilometres, starting at Kamara Beach on the west coast and finishing on Sumner Beach in Christchurch. The Curry brothers and previous winner Richard Usher were the favourites leading into the race, but Mr. Curry broke away from the pack in the mountain run, stealing a 20-minute gap in front of the others.
It's just so phenomenal. I don't recall, in the 32 years of the race, I don't recall anybody having that lead and not winning. You know, that is astonishing.
I felt great off the run and it just felt awesome, so it's good.
Competitors cycled 140 kilometres, ran 36 kilometres over the Southern Alps and kayaked 67 kilometres along the Waimakariri River. But the good weather meant the two-day event ran smoothly.
Everything was so good and every part of the machinery of the event was just like that, clockwork. There haven't been any complaints from anybody about anything.
The winner for the women's one-day competition was Jess Simpson. She collapsed at the finish line after completing the event in 13 hours and 12 minutes. For many of the competitors, they'll be straight back into training for next year's event. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
And you can see the highlights of the Coast to Coast competition tomorrow evening right here on CTV. Well, still to come, we have the sport, traffic and weather update.
Join us tonight at 6 for DW World News. Informative, lively, international news, breaking stories and global developments. DW News, weekdays at 6 p.m, right here on CTV.
Love music, love summer? Then Ingham Lazy Sundays in the Botanic Gardens Archery Lawn is the place to be. Every Sunday from 3 p.m. through January to February, and it's all free. So make Sunday your day to soak up summer and take time to recharge with family and friends, relaxing in the beautiful Botanic Gardens. Listen to some great music and enjoy some of the many surrounding attractions. The perfect way to unwind. Ingham Lazy Sundays, putting summer into Sundays.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, the naturopath here at Staywell Pharmacy. Working with the pharmacist, I use herbal and nutritional medicine to recommend natural alternatives for your health. This can be to counteract any side effects of your medication, general health advice, or natural options for you and your family. I'm also available for consultations. So come in and see us at Staywell Pharmacy, 27 Shands Road, Hornby. Staywell Pharmacy, live well, stay well.
Just 20 minutes drive from Christchurch and nestled in the tranquil surroundings of Littleton Harbour is Canterbury's best kept treasure, Living Springs. The perfect setting for large or small conference groups, team building and development, weddings and special events. With accommodation and catering options available, our facilities and recreational activities are ideal for any occasion. Enjoy the breathtaking scenery and leave feeling revitalised.
Al Jazeera News, international news right off the satellite, bringing you up-to-the-minute coverage of world events. Al Jazeera News, weekday mornings at 6 o'clock, right here on CTV.
Now, the Coast to Coast may have been the most high-profile sports event on over the weekend, but it wasn't the only one. Here's a roundup of the past couple of days' sporting action.
Canterbury Softball are celebrating their 75th Jubilee this month and capped things off perfectly on Sunday as they clinched both the men's and women's national titles at the National Fast Pitch Championships. The Canterbury men's Red Sox defended their title successfully with an emphatic 7-0 win over Auckland. However, it was the women's Canterbury Redhawks side that were the surprise package as they beat a star-packed Auckland side 4-0 to win their first crown since 2003. Canterbury's senior championship double followed last month's twin victories by the province's under-19 boys and girls teams. Canterbury last won the men's and women's elite titles in the same season in 1997. It was the 15th victory for the women and the 5th by our men. Cantabrians also scooped a clutch of key individual awards, with Josh Thompson, a home run hero in the final, named the men's MVP, and Regan Manley the top pitcher. Meanwhile, for the women, Red Hawks pitcher Samantha Parks was named top pitcher, while catcher Mal Gettins was the tournament MVP. Canterbury United slipped to 4th in the National Football Premiership on Sunday after falling to their first home defeat of the season at the hands of Hawke's Bay United. The Dragons are still in a playoff spot. However, with their last fixture of the round robin next weekend away to 5th place Waitakere United, it will become a virtual winner-takes-all scenario. A draw will be enough for Canterbury, however a loss in the final round will see Waitakere leapfrog Canterbury into the final playoff position. Canterbury's late run of poor form was consolidated on Sunday when they went 2-1 down to a 90th minute goal from Hawke's Bay United defender Aaron Jones at English Park. A win this weekend could be enough to see Canterbury finish as high as 3rd, with Team Wellington currently 1 point ahead of them. And finally tonight, the Tactics completed their Trans-Tasman Netball League pre-season tournament in Melbourne over the weekend, with coach Lee Gibbs encouraged after some pleasing performances. The Tactics won both of their games to Australian opposition yesterday and won 3 of their 7 games while also registering a draw. It was a great chance for Gibbs to give all 12 players in her squad a run and also try different combinations. The Tactics' opening game of the competition gets underway on March 1st when they take on the Bay of Plenty Magic in Christchurch. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Finlater for CTV Sport.
If you're driving around the central city, CTV's new traffic update will assist you navigating the repairs taking place.
Hello travellers, a new week and a new update on what's happening with the central city roads. Some good news, Colombo Street at Morehouse Ave will be restored to two-way traffic tomorrow. Chewham Street between Antigua and Montreal Streets is now open both ways. However, Chewham's still restricted to one-way westbound between Montreal and Durham Streets. All lanes down Montreal Street between Morehouse and Beeley Avenue will be restored this week. Turn restrictions may be in place at certain points, so be sure to pay attention to on-road signage. As the roads are closing and opening rapidly, make sure you keep watching CTV News first at 5 for the latest updates. And don't forget to visit the Transport for Christchurch website to help you stay ahead of the pack next time you're in the central city.
And also don't forget that those traffic updates do run at 7, 8 and 9 a.m. in the morning right here on CTV. Well now, the weather over the weekend was spectacularly good, but what can we expect in the days ahead? Finally tonight, the weather.
Kia ora and good evening Canterbury. A north to northwesterly airflow is developing ahead of a weakening cold front due later tomorrow, so the daytime highs tomorrow will be pushing around the mid-20s. Kaikoura sits on a very warm 15 degrees overnight, then sunny periods and high cloud the order for the day, with warm northerly winds and a beautiful daytime high of 27 degrees. A fine warm Tuesday ahead for Hanma after a nice 15 overnight, with high cloud and northeasterly breezes. Your daytime high will sit around 25 degrees. Rangiora and Kaipoi sitting on 15 overnight, then fine and mild with northerly winds and a high of 26 degrees. You'll also have a little bit of high cloud. Christchurch a fine Tuesday ahead after 15 overnight with sunny periods and a high of 25, high cloud and northerly winds as well. Ashburton mostly fine after 15 overnight with mild northerlies, but southwesterlies may bring some late cloud or showers. Your daytime high sits on 24 degrees. And Timaru fine after 15 overnight with high cloud and northerlies. A daytime high of 24, but a cool southwesterly change later may bring some afternoon showers. In other areas now, most areas on 15 overnight, followed by highs between 24 and 26 degrees. A cloudy start, but the cloud will break up in the afternoon. Arthur's Pass and Greymouth on 10 degrees and 12 degrees overnight, and then highs between 16 and 17 with showers expected all day. Looking ahead for Canterbury, mostly fine and sunny on Wednesday with northeasterly winds developing during the day and high cloud increasing on Thursday with moderate to fresh breezy northeasterlies. That's it from me. Have a great night and I'll have another update for you tomorrow.
And that's CTV News for Monday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.